From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, Maul returning. I'm Ken Knapsack.
That's fun to think that we should all be saying our names like Maul. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm sure. We are here live, ForceCenter now, and we are all Maul today. The trailer for Maul, teaser trailer for Maul Shadow Lord dropped just yesterday with a little bit of advance warning, which was nice. We're going to dive into it. We might do more on Monday when Jen comes back to discuss the news. Jennifer Landis sends her regards as always. But we're also going to take your calls. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can get in, and after Joseph and I are done discussing it, which sounds, am I scolding? After we're done talking, kids. No, we're getting in there. But before we dive in, Joseph, happy to be here with you today. But as always, there's things in the world, and your mind is on your home state of Minnesota, as it is for a lot of folks.
Yes. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the live stream last week. We were raising funds for two specific organizations. We raised almost $900. And I know I talked to friends of mine in Minnesota, in Minneapolis and St. Paul, who were really gratified about the money and about people really listening and reflecting that they know what is going on. So people there don't feel alone in this battle. Not doing any specific kind of fundraiser today, but in the last week, a wonderful person has organized a website that has a long list of places that you can donate. So if you feel the need to get involved, if you have a little extra cash, and you also want to help in a specific way, it's this great list of all kinds of different organizations doing all kinds of different things. So I just wanted to take a second to plug that. That website is called standwithminnesota.com. So if you are interested in checking out ways that you can help, you can do that. I will drop the URL in the chat right now. There we go. And complete at last. I have posted in the chat.
You have to. I'll make sure I'll pin that to the top too. The situation continues. I was trying to think of the right words to say, but obviously our all eyes on Minnesota, and also every other part of the country. Maine, I think I'm here and gearing up for Pacific Northwest again. Stuff here in LA, and this is where we're at. But we can come together and fight together. And again, as Joseph said, we talked about it on shows earlier this week. But so happy, thrilled, and just moved by all of you showed up last week for the fundraiser.
Yes, thank you all. All right.
Maul, Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
This is I don't have the release dates down. I'm going to get that too while we're chatting. But let's we've been doing this for a long time, and I'm really excited for this series. Really looking forward to it. Really happy with the names behind it in terms of writing, producing, executive producing, all that stuff. But this is we kind of weren't sure when this was going to show up. We knew the Maul comic, the little preview, kind of the prequel comic, was on its way. But Joseph, we got all the information. What are your early reactions and fun stuff?
My first and earliest reaction was I was thrilled that they put out the post that they were going to release it the next day. It's so nice when there's so much going on in the world that I was just like, all right, I'm going to get up, and unless something really, really bad, I'm just going to watch the Maul trailer first thing in the morning. And that was beautiful. Great confirmation on the dates. There's a ton in the teaser trailer itself that's really fun and fascinating. But the StarWars.com lengthy article that they released about it is in some ways the thing that got me just as excited as the teaser trailer, where they described the show as pulpy and an adventure serial with adventure serial pacing. Here's a quote from executive producer Matt Michenovitz. It's a super fast-paced series. We wanted to create an action-packed thrill ride, something that had the rush of a roller coaster. So we do a lot of homages to the classic serials of the day, which gave George Lucas the inspiration for Star Wars. We've got the perfect character to drive us through in Maul. Longtime ForceCenter community folks know we really love the big ideas. We really love the myth. We really love the fable. We also love the pulpy adventure serial. So I'm really excited to see them embracing that. And I think it's kind of interesting to put it in the press release too, because I have no criticism at all of Bad Batch. But, there are episodes of Bad Batch and arcs of Bad Batch that were slow burn. So it's interesting them to say, we're going to do a little bit different than that. We are going to just pound our foot on the gas, and we're going to go and tell this 10 episode contained roller coaster of a story. it's really exciting to me. Do you have any thoughts, reactions to that part of it?
I'm right there. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on it, including Bad Batch being perhaps my favorite of the. I mean, I don't like. I love Bad Batch. You love Bad Batch. We all love Bad Batch. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, because they had 15, 16 episodes longer seasons, you could take your time or do things a little differently. Not that Maul's not going to take its time to do what it needs to do, but I liked hearing this too, because also the release schedule, which I do have up, 2 episodes each release day: April 6th, April 13th, April 20th. Oh man, I'll be 50 by then. Oh, God, that hit me. April 27th and May 4th, Star Wars Day, which might make me think there's not going to be a Tales of this year, is the episodes 9 and 10. So you got 10 episodes. However they came to that decision, it can be, I kind of look at that as maybe a bummer, but also, hey, maybe they're like, hey, we got 10 episodes. We're going to do this. I'm excited for exactly what you're talking about. That pulpy, highly serialized, very connected. And that makes me feel better about 2 episodes a drop.
And I know with animation, they're planning ahead. So there's probably already a decision about whether there's a season 2. So maybe it's fewer episodes, so there can be more seasons. I also like the reveal. It's in the teaser trailer, the aesthetic of it, but the reveal in that article that this city, Janix, is a city built in a crater. And the depiction of what the city is, that it's still, democracy is holding there, but there's a lot of crime, so there's a little balance, maybe some looking the other way at the crime to keep the democracy in the city together, and the Empire really hasn't bothered with it yet. So not only is that like touching on all of the kind of different genres that Star Wars can pull from, one of the genres is noir, and this is just total noir. I did not expect in 1999, like, hey, the devil-looking Sith Lord, he's going to be in a Raymond Chandler adventure in Star Wars. He's going to be in a noir city, a dark, rain-slick, neon-filled city that is wrestling with corruption, and 2 of the main characters in this are going to be a cop and his buddy droid. It's so noir, which is a really interesting way to approach this time period.
I really love what you're saying about that. Yeah, Wagner Mora playing Brander Lawson, Star Wars name, if there's ever been a Star Wars name. And I love that he's the gum show. He's out there on the streets, see, tracking down the body. There's been signs of a dark force in the city. I love it. I love what you're saying. I love we're going to get Dick Tracy in Star Wars. Oh, wait, no, is that? No? Okay, kind of. I love the Dick Tracy movie. But no, it just it makes a lot of sense for Maul as the character in this time and what he's up against and what he wants to do and the criminal syndication of it all, the Star Wars underworld of it all. So I love it. And maybe if Joseph, what are you going to do if we get a scene of rain falling and Maul's in a diner?
Oh my God. I need an Edward Hopper painting of Darth Maul is what I need, or of just Maul. I also just, when we do the reviews, we talk a lot about how do the visuals and the setting, how do they help tell the story? And a story where a bunch of people are living literally in a crater, trapped, confined in one city, not jetting across the galaxy, trapped, confined underneath the ground, basically. It's a good boiling cauldron of what are we going to do? Who are we going to be in the face of the Empire is so great. It is a setup.
Love tasty themes. I love tasty themes served up in a nice bowl, a crater, literally right
bowl.
there. Crater bowl. Yeah, and in terms of the series, obviously we hope this goes for a couple seasons. I don't have any official announcements of how long it's going in my brain. So if someone out there tell us if we're missing it. But yeah, a good starting point too, right? Because obviously Maul goes out into the galaxy and there's all other things. But like for a season 1, if you're just pitching it to me on here's your show Bible and this is where we're at, like, I love what you're talking about. It's getting me really excited. And I love new planets, man. Janix is a great name. I love the visuals of it and a lot of the animation style and how it looks. And there was even great stuff in that article about some of the practical approaches to animation. So love the setting. Love the setting.
Yeah, using the actual painting on glass to give some of that great sense of motion that they have in the visuals. Yeah, and I had been wondering, how are we going to tell this story? Because it seems like Palpatine would want to shut him down. So I love the idea of that. Maul's like, I still want to have power. I still want to crime. But I can only really do it in this one city with my head kind of down. That was great. Last really big thing that jumped out at me, Ken, is, Maul's dialogue is great. But it also has this very specific Maul vibe to it. I think the story that we were all sort of guessing at with the introduction of a Padawan figure, that we learned the character's name is Devon and Zara. Everything he's saying is that sort of seduction of, we're not, being allowed to be who we are and, live the way we want to live and all that kind of thing, speaks to that great sort of seduction. I know I've seen other people talking about it, but his lines, "We have all been made to suffer. We survive, but do not live." People have been shouting those lines out, and they're so right to do it. And I'm so looking forward to this show where I think Maul is an angry, damaged person, a lonely person, but a person who can't get past his pain and needs to live on revenge and control. And I'm looking forward to this show where he's going to be diagnosing the disease of the Empire correctly. So on one hand, you're going to want to be like, yes, Maul, take it to the streets. You're saying all the right things. You're singing a protest song, Maul. Yes, Maul.
To the streets. Yeah.
He's going to diagnose the disease correctly, but he is not going to offer a cure. He is going to offer a different disease. And I think that's going to be just so fascinating to talk about and so fascinating to watch a character like Devon, who it looks like was probably headed toward being a Jedi, hear Maul preach all the right ideas, but in service of just more anger and vengeance.
Yeah, no, just getting right to the themes here. Those tasty themes. I absolutely love and agree with what you're saying there. And this character, Devon and Zara, voiced by Gideon Adlon, as the Adlon family acting empire continues to take more hold in Hollywood. But against Pamela Adlon and her daughters everywhere now. But interesting note. When we heard
I missed that.
What's that?
That it was another Adlon.
It's Pamela Adlon's older daughter. Odessa's the one who's everywhere now, is the younger one. Yes,
there is a coordinated release of Adlon daughters. It's amazing. Yes, there is. Society. Yeah.
Welcome to Hollywood. When your name gets put on a list and you're the only ones who get cast. Oh man. Anyways, but taking away nothing against these talented performers, but we knew there was going to be some sort of Padawan in there, and I don't know. I want to get into some of the themes here, but just on while we're talking about the Padawan, this Devon and Zara, of it being a obviously recently former Jedi Padawan, things have collapsed and crumbled, and that feeds into one of the big themes, which is what happens when your future vanishes. What you thought was going to happen, what you thought you wanted, or what you just wanted is gone. So I like that as a good starting point to pair with Maul. We've seen Maul with Ezra kind of do the seduction. I think we get this little shots of like a little tea party that might be a little bit of this kind of Maul seduction, and I obviously don't mean that in terms of sexual seduction, but just in emotional seduction. I think it's a great pairing, and I also like that it is similar because Maul's not going to try a lot of new things. So we're going to see how this one plays out. Your thoughts on the character and that opening theme there?
Yeah, I loved the little bit that we saw of her. I think the line I'm paraphrasing of "This is what it's always going to be on the run." Of I really hope that we're going to dive into the psychology. We've got to see lots of Padawans on the run for Order 66, but starting with a totally new one who can just be like, the Jedi failed, the life I was going to have isn't there, and this guy is saying all the right things. I really hope it's somebody who isn't going to sort of question the Jedi Order in terms of asking us, the audience, to question the Jedi Order, but rather a portrait of somebody who is understandably susceptible to, hey, everything Maul is saying is right about the Empire, but how we fight back matters. And somebody who I think is eventually, if this is one season, if this is 4 seasons, I would imagine that this character's arc is going to be to realize he doesn't have anything to offer me, even though he has so many good points about how the Jedi failed.
Yeah, I got a super chat question I'm going to take from Doxson here to maybe work into our conversation here. Calls coming later in the show, so queue up, get your calls ready. one of the you're touching. I just want to dive into. You're touching on what I think is going to be not just a theme, but a valuable theme, and you're touching on it. Alex Damon touched on it yesterday. In fact, I texted Alex late last night and said, "I'm not feeling that great this week. Do you want to just come in and take my spot on the show tomorrow on ForceCenter?" He didn't answer me back. Got a weird headache, but this idea of Alex put it kind of. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but fighting evil with evil. And you are saying the same thing there, and I just think that is wonderfully delicious when you can analyze not coldly or distantly, because we're stuck in a world where evil is all around us. In fact, we've probably always been, but we always talk about Star Wars about how you fight matters, when you fight matters, and here you got Maul saying quotes that you're already pulling here, Joseph, that are like, yeah, he's right. He's right, but he's going to go about it in the wrong way. I just love that that's on full on display. I think that's a great way to have a series based around Maul be like, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I think it might be fun too. I have no idea how the show is going to play out, the roller coaster, the thematic emotional roller coaster. But does Maul, I really want to spend some time with Maul is lonely, and Maul can't even probably admit to himself how much he needs and wants to be around other people. That it is a value for him to have a Padawan, and it's, I think, a feather in his horns, not his cap, but his horns, to break a Jedi. But at the end of the day, he's lonely. So it might be interesting too to see Maul kind of hold back from going full Sith with the way he manipulates, because she has every reason to be angry, and we're seeing Maul fight in that trailer. But who are we seeing fighting? Cutting down troopers who are coming there to kill and control, cutting down Inquisitors. So in the eyes of somebody, like Devon, could be like, well, he's a Sith. He's supposed to be bad. He's supposed to be everything he's fighting, but he's saying all the right things, and he's doing what Jedi do. He's defending me and the people from the true oppressors. It'll be interesting if Maul takes a while to go full Sith. Takes a while for him to sort of truly play his full hand. Like he does it a little bit with Ezra in Rebels, where he kind of tries to spin the narrative, and then is just sort of drops it pretty quickly once he starts cutting into people's eyes and kidnapping them and all that. But it'd be interesting to see him take a longer play.
Yeah, indeed. And that would, so Doxson, by the way, as someone who had Doxson as a kid, love that username, said a very generous super chat. Thank you. What kind of character growth do you think will be possible for Maul, given the extent to which his shtick is repeatedly failing to learn? Or will he be less the main character than I assume? I think he's going to be very central and the main character. I don't think they're going to get cute with that title, but I think it's a great question, because we like steadfast characters in Star Wars, Leia, Padme, and I think eventually by season 3 of Mandalorian, I think Din Djarin's kind of a steadfast. I've done great changes, and I'd like you to all come along on my journey. But Maul's steadfast in all the wrong ways. Where do you hope character growth happens, and how possible is it for you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room, like literally a lot of time between this and his next appearance, about 10 years from now in Solo. Right. Where he seems to be a little bit more comfortable. So, I mean, I feel like a character like Maul could come to the brink of changing, right? If he grows very close to this person, if he allows himself to be really honest with himself about the lack of love and caring in his life, and close to that moment of taking the risk of letting the anger go, I think he can go far, and it can be a story of, I got really close to letting go of the anger, and it was too goddamn scary. So never again. I'm getting my power back, and I'm doubling down. The Emperor was on me, and I was hiding in one crater city. And I was weak, and I almost gave in, and I never will again. If that was the arc that we could take him on, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. He's a Taylor Swift song. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I want him to get to that brink. I put down the note of Maul learns it's him, meaning at some point, like I like you putting out there that, like, not that suddenly he's going to come dressed in all white and brown and be like, Anakin has Jedi life now, but like that there's that we keep talking about him seducing others and affecting others. Like, what if someone affects him to the point where he's almost there, and he can't, and he pulls back, and just this this knowing that he lives the rest of his life, as Gaz says here in chat, he never let his lust for revenge towards Palpatine Kenobi go, and I think that's going to be true. But just so he can't, and then there's a certain pain of when you realize the problems you face in your life are sometimes yours, and you can change them, but you can't, and you keep doing the same things. I'm dealing with a lot of 2016, 10 years ago on Instagram. I just did a show today with Alden, looking back in 2006, and it's 20 years ago. And I'm like, some of the mistakes I made, I still make them. And I hate that, and I can't change it. How do you react to that? To have Maul, one of the evilest of them all, who has this pain at the center of his life, who's like, man, if I changed, I could heal myself, but I can't bring myself to do it. That's not necessarily character growth. It's character wall, unmovable object kind of colliding, and I think that's something I'd like to explore.
I think that would be great, because I think he's right to be mad at Sidious. It is a lot of his life's pain is Sidious's fault, but never having that recollection of okay, well, I understand where my pain came from, but I still need to make my own choices. I can't continue to harm myself with my own anger about what happened to me is, profound.
Yeah. Just that, damn it, it's me, huh? And just, but also, if he is challenged to let go of that lust for revenge, right? If there's at one point where, hey, this is what you should do, and hey, and maybe he touches that a little bit, and he shrinks back from that. I'd like playing with that.
Yeah. General Cameroni says it would be cool to explore how Maul hates both the Jedi and the Sith so much that his hate makes him unable to properly fight either the enemies he thinks wronged him. I think that's great too, because obviously he always goes back to vengeance, and Kenobi is his North Star of well, when I have no other mission in life, it's kill that guy. But I think he also has been trained and raised since birth of his value is power, and he failed on Naboo fighting Kenobi, and Sidious didn't think he had power. He built up this power with Mandalore, and he lost it twice. So I think that a lot of the series is also going to be a noir gangster thing of when Maul sits alone, he believes he has value. He can love himself if he has power. And so I think a lot of this is going to be about how can I have power in a way where daddy won't slap me down, because for some reason Palpatine allows him to function at a higher level by the time of Solo.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Any other big themes you want to dive into, or some of your favorite moments, thoughts on the names cast, anything there?
The only other thing for me is the in the trailer there's a Jedi Master looking guy, the fun alien meditating that we then see give a nice force push to a speeder. Looking at the list of cast in the article, it says Dennis Haysbert is Master Iko Diodaki. I hope that's Haysbert. Iko Diodaki. Big fan of Dennis Haysbert from his 24 days. And many great commercials for insurance. That's true. But mostly 24. That was delightful to see, because looked like a cool Jedi Master type, and I don't care if it is that Jedi was Devon's master or a different master, and they both ended up here. But I'm happy to know that there's some Jedi Master for Devon to go why should I listen to you instead of Maul when Maul's saying all the right things.
Yeah, I love that. I love that design too of that character. What we think's that character, kind of like a turtle Mick Force user. Kind of idea.
Turtle, bird, reptile guy.
General Cameron, Terra Snube vibes. I agree.
That's why I liked him. He's got a little bit of a Snube snout. Yeah.
Ethan says President David Palmer is going to be a Jedi lizard.
Yeah.
And his turn in Major League. Don't forget his groundbreaking performance in Major League. And some favorite things, moments for me. You mentioned Janet. I'm so glad you focused on Janet up top. I just love the shots of it. Like I said, I really do love new planets. I just love adding, new answers for trivia questions I'll never have to compete over again. But level of shots there. Because this is I have a feeling, much like Bad Batch, Joseph. Every week we're gonna have to just keep saying the show's beautiful until we stop apologizing for it. But it looks absolutely stunning.
It does, and it makes so much sense thematically to kind of put the show in this pressure cooker of one big metropolis that is being overlooked by the Empire. But I'm sure it also saved them some budget so they could do more with less if they're not planet hopping a ton.
Absolutely. How many times did Homer Simpson walk down the same hallway? Here it is. Yes, absolutely. I love the only big trailer, like just fun, like woo moment. Like obviously, at some point you're gonna drop that Duel of the Fates banger all the kids love, and they do it in the trailer, but it's combined with Maul just flinging his blade and chopping down stormtroopers, and not only just a cool moment, but it's kind of what we're talking about with the themes of like. Awesome. So we're going to be rooting for him, right? Wow, that's going to be a fun, confusing, complicated journey. Let's do it.
Yeah. And they looked like the TK troopers that we met in the Bad Batch. So that was one of my fun moments too, of like cheering for the old thing that is actually quite new of that design of the TK troopers from Bad Batch. Like, awesome. I know exactly where this is in the timeline based on those troopers.
Yeah, indeed. Love that there. I'm just excited. This is the first thing out of the gate in 2026 for Star Wars, and when this wraps, we'll just be a couple weeks away from Mandalorian and Grogu. So I thought we had no real idea. I mean, again, with the comic, you could have guessed there was some thoughts, but this could have been in the fall. We still don't know Ahsoka season 2 when exactly, unless something's out there that I'm unaware of. But I think it's a great way to really lead off a new year of great Star Wars.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely something that's going to be rewarding for people who love animation and have followed Maul and Rebels and followed this era in the Bad Batch. But I suspect it'll also be a pretty good jumping on point for people who've been away from Star Wars for a while to just try something different.
Yeah, I think speaking of people jumping on, where was this comment earlier? Matthew Stokes. This is Matthew Stokes. Today I had to deal with someone that couldn't quite remember what happened to Maul and the Phantom Menace, despite the Phantom Menace being their favorite Star Wars film. Like, man, where do you begin? And it sounds like a joke too, but it's like we are going to have another round of. I thought he died by the general Star Wars loving population. And it's almost a joke now, and we've had many years and spider legs and this and that and Solo, but like it's something that I don't think something for the show to be concerned with, but aware. Do you have any thoughts on will there be a previously on Maul's life?
Well, they put a link to his entire databank entry in that article. But one weird thing with Maul's timeline is he's got a pretty big, incredibly emotionally important little arc that was supposed to be part of the Clone Wars that they've just put out as a comic book.
Right.
And I wonder if they're going to do any sort of flashback with that. It's basically, when we see him in the Clone Wars, Palpatine becomes aware of him, kills Savage, and takes Maul. In this comic book, tells a story of how he escaped and got back to Mandalore, so Ahsoka could capture him, so he could escape again.
Right.
And just in case people haven't read that comic book, I'm not actually going to spoil it, but there is an emotionally important to Maul thing that happens in that comic book. So I wonder if they might do a little bit of like a flashback, since that was always supposed to be an animated arc and didn't happen.
I love that. And our audience is making jokes about the somehow Maul return jokes we're going to get, which I love our audience for. You're all right. Yeah, no. Be curious to see it. And he's lived quite a life, that Maul. It's been quite a life.
He has been escaped and captured a lot.
Yes, he's good. Yeah. There you go. Jeffrey says, I hope the series is a musical. One of the I do love that we got Inquisitors. We got Birdman and Merrick. Sounds like a folk duo for the 70s, but and we know the fates of those characters, of course, but that just makes a lot of sense. And I love the Inquisitors. And then jump to, maybe this will come in calls, but Alex mentioned it in his video too. But I do want to, before we get too far down this path, deal with and ask you and talk about the Vader of it all.
Oh, yeah. I have been on the Vader train since they announced this. I think it makes sense, and I want to see it. And it's weird because I'm not normally big on the I want to see the thing. But like I remember, when Phantom Menace came out, and you just have all those conversations. There was a kind of what if comic book. If they fought and all that. The reason that I'm so excited about it is because it makes emotional sense. And I've talked about this before of if and when, well, we know from the trailer that Maul is wanted, but if he sends a couple of Inquisitors at Maul kills Merrick so he can later become a fart cloud, as everybody likes to describe him in the chat in Ahsoka season 1. Birdman can't die because Ahsoka kills him too, right? In Tales of the Jedi. Yes. Unless that's Birdman's brother, Birdman 1, and Ahsoka kills Birdman 2. Who knows? If he becomes a threat, it makes total sense for Palpatine to send Vader, because Palpatine is always testing Vader in all of the comics and books of this era. He makes Vader continually prove himself. And what better way to prove himself than, like, at some point Palpatine's got to be like, well, you failed. I trained you, and then you got cut in half by a Padawan, and then you lived on a garbage planet, and now you want to have a little crime syndicate and possibly mess up Order 66. Screw you. But at some point he's got to be like, damn, this guy, this half a Sith Lord will not stop. He's got to start having some respect for Maul, right? And what better way to test him than sending Vader? And I just so trust this team to not just have it be like, cool, Maul and Vader fight, which would be cool, but to have it be this utter tragedy of two abused children fighting for their evil father's horrible fake love, which is what it feels like to me.
Yeah, perfect use of it. That's something that's big with us around here. Of like, so when a character shows up, like, does it make sense? Would that be the character that responds to Grogu, going to the Luke of it all in Mandalorian? And I'm not even saying it has to be this season, or I'm predicting it for this season. But if this show has a 2 or 3 season run, it just makes sense. And of course, there is the kind of in Rebels canon explanation of Vader shows up. Maul's vibe is kind of like, gotta go.
Yep.
So I think it would make sense. And I for one, I don't need everything Vader all the time. We've had several comic series and we have all that stuff there. But when Hayden shows up playing versions of him in Kenobi or Ahsoka, I think it's valuable. I think it's great. And I think here having another shot with someone playing the role there too, I think would be great. Because again, look, Rebels is some of my favorite Vader stuff. So love that there.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that for the emotional battle, they both kind of have good ways to dig in. Like, Maul is the failed apprentice. He is yesterday's model to Vader's, powerful success. But Maul, as people are pointing out in the chat, Maul knows he's Anakin. So like, you imagine Maul spitting out in between lightsaber strikes. I remember when you were a child quivering in the desert, hiding with your hands over your head, like the vulnerability from Vader having his truth known, like, ugh.
Yeah, I was an inch away from killing you in the desert. I was an inch away from taking you out.
If you hadn't ducked, none of this would have been happening. Yeah.
I do love, speaking of predictions, our buddy Alan Smithy says, will the show bring back Savage Repress, Maul slightly taller, wackier brother? I do want at one point Maul to be like, I had a brother, and then we just do like a do to like, Maul, tell me about the rabbits again. I think I could take that.
I had a brother, and then it's just Sidious cutting him, double stabbing him backwards. Yeah, I had a brother. He got double stabbed backwards. Ugh.
Love that. Any other things lingering, or should we go to calls, sir?
Oh no, we should go to calls. We got lots of nice, great questions. So let's go for it.
Let's do it. As always, here at ForceCenter Now, if you're a Patreon supporter, you can find the link that I posted the other day, I think yesterday. Get in there here at StreamYard. If you're camera ready and willing, leave your camera on, so we'll bring your face, your wonderful face, onto the show. If you're not comfortable with that, or you're in a spot where the camera, you're shopping in a Costco, you can turn the camera off and just do audio, and I'll see it in there, and when we pull you up, we'll know. So let's start off with, I think, perhaps, Joseph, our most, our biggest, we're not handing out medals, but our biggest animation fan in the Star Wars Discord, who carries the flame for animation, as they should, because we love Star Wars animation here. Gwen calling to the show. Gwen, we're happy to have you here.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Oh, I'm on cloud 9 today.
Great to hear.
Excited.
Take us through favorite moments. Steves, what do you want? You've been waiting for this, as you said, Cloud 9. What's your reaction?
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of, I'm having a hard time like parsing the different moments because it's all still coming at me. I'm gonna have to watch it like a few more dozen times. But one of the things that sticks out to me is that you guys mentioned the visuals, and the Lucasfilm animation just keeps killing it. And there's so much in the show that's, and it's a noir too. So it reminds me of Blade Runner. It's very Blade Runner-esque with its cityscapes and all that. And I'm just absolutely loving that whole look and that vibe. But I have to like hand it to the, as far as like what's my favorite thing from the trailer, it's, you guys talked about it. It's, it's Sam Witwer's line delivery of, we have all been made to suffer. We survive, but do not live. Chains can be broken and empires can be shattered. It's like, I know he's a bad guy, but like, it's so like, yeah, you're right. And I'm okay sitting in that place for a little bit. Right. I know he's bad, but I'm gonna root for him with an asterisk, and keep in mind that he's gonna do some very bad things. But I'm just so excited to have his moments, and for him to have his moment in the limelight. And a show that's going to be based around him, and to really get these complicated aspects of Maul's character, so that we can both despise him and love him in equal measure. And just hearing Sam Witwer's voice throughout the entire thing, it's just like, I waited yesterday until I got home from work so I could watch the trailer in high quality on my big screen TV. And it's because I knew I was going to be just endlessly thrilled. And I'm just excited to have like a big animated project back. Because for me, like, I'm going to go, you guys said it. I'm like, this is my favorite, like, we talked about the buffet, the Star Wars buffet, and this is my favorite like item on the buffet. Is this world, this sort of Clone Wars, post Clone Wars, animated world, because I just think it's so fascinating watching the complexity of the universe during this era, and the animation, just because they're so good at it now, they can do things with it that, as much as I love the live action shows, and yes, I'm going to go ahead and announce my Ahsoka love while I'm here, because I love that show so much. But there is just something that hits different about what they're able to do with animation. It feels the closest to the prequels in sort of the scope of what they're able to do. And so I just, in addition to being immersed in the storytelling, I just sit there with my jaw on the floor, just watching every frame of these shows. And this looks to be no different.
Yeah, I really like that they have taken the style and all of the advancements they've had, and then are really actively doing something different with it, and also really publicizing that. As this is one of the talking points of the show, is that we're experimenting, we're playing. And I've always loved the animated side, but I think with Bad Batch in particular, they really pushed into we've got a little bit of a different audience for this, so we can really take risks. Some of those, very solemn Crosshair episodes that we love so much just feel like they are just visual poetry, and they're just like taking slightly bigger swings than even the great live action shows do. And it makes me really excited to see kind of what are they going to do? Could we have like a whole half hour, no words, it's just Maul being sad for a half hour?
Yeah.
Like what kind of big swings might they take?
Dude. Well, one of and Gwen, I'll get your thoughts on this because you're a Maul fan, and I'm right there with you. On sometimes, look, I'm an Oasis fan. I root against them as much as I root for them as a band. Like they're kind of evil. Like I get it. We live in a complicated world, but Maul could be. I think, especially in Rebels, Maul could be funny, and go with me on this. Are you expecting all aspects of his personality? That this isn't, just this somber. Though I do want Joseph's Maul sad while Snoopy piano music plays, Charlie Peanuts piano music plays in the background. What are you expecting from Maul in terms of humor, personality, charisma as he tries to seduce these people? What do you want from Maul?
Yeah, I mean, there's few people more charismatic than Maul, and that's why he's so great. But as far as humor, like I really latch on to moments like during the final episodes of Clone Wars, which not a lot of comedy necessarily to be had, but there's those moments between him and Ahsoka where he's like, it's good that you came to me. And she's like, I'm not rooting for you. He's like, care to give me a weapon at least. And it's just this sort of, the snipes back and forth. And so he does have a sense of like dark humor. And so I hope that's on display as he interacts with these new characters, especially a new, apprentice. I think there's the possibility because I don't see her, from what we've seen so far. I think she is the type of person that's going to sort of give back to him a bit, or at least I hope so. And so I think that has the possibility for some humor because, they got to lighten this up somehow. Otherwise, like I'm here for unrelentingly dark. But right. It is nice to balance that out with some humor.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I just could not be more excited for all of this.
Love it. Final thing before I let you go, I'm very happy you're the first to call in today, Gwen, because I know you've been waiting for this. But when was the first time you locked on to Star Wars animation? Does it factor into your Star Wars entry point as a fan? I know you love all aspects, big fan of Ahsoka and everything, but like you are as we all should be, fans of Star Wars animation. But what was the first part of your Star Wars fandom that became a thing?
It's really interesting because I think it really started when I was, funny enough, away from Star Wars, because I loved The Phantom Menace when I saw it in theaters. I just went nuts over the film. And then around the time that episode 2 came out, I started to become aware of like the noise around the prequels. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. And I think I kind of let that get to me a little bit. And it just so happened that timed with my entry into loving Lord of the Rings. So I was occupied with that for a good many years. I say that like I'm still hopelessly obsessed. But so like I still loved Star Wars, but I wasn't super engaged with it for a lot of years. Even though I saw episode 2, I had some issues with it at the time. I've come to become a lot more affectionate about it. Loved episode 3, but I was still like holding it at arm's length. And then it was many years later, I did see the Clone Wars animated movie, but I saw it and then sort of put it out of my mind for a little bit. It was when that season 1 Blu-ray set came out, though, and I was like, and Blu-ray was relatively new, so I was like, I want some high definition Star Wars to watch, and so I got that and just loved it. And it made me realize what I loved about the prequel so much: the world building and the epic scale and getting immersed in the characters. And from then, like my love of the Clone Wars just steadily increased as the seasons came out, and ever since then, it's like it's just something about that has clicked with me, because I think it's like the fulfillment of what George kind of wanted to do with the prequels. I think let off his leash. I wonder if he wouldn't have done the whole thing animated if the audience was there for that kind of thing, because so much of the world of what he was doing was animation. Not to say that like the live action elements of all of those films aren't great, but it just feels like this in particular, like what he was able to do with Clone Wars with Dave and with the whole team was like George unfiltered.
Love it.
And that's how I feel about Star Wars animation in general. I think it's the purest form of Star Wars, because they can quite literally do whatever they want.
I agree with that.
Agreed
indeed. All right, gonna let you go, but you have to answer this yes or no. In fact, anyone that calls in today, we're gonna ask this question, and I don't need explanations. I don't need that. I need yes or no, Gwen. Darth Vader, at any point in this series, does he show up?
Yes.
All right, there it is. Thank you for calling in. We really appreciate you there, Gwen. A lot of fun there. I love the passion for animation. Yeah, and I could be Gwen at that sentiment of there's just the realities of a Twi'lek in live action does feel a little different. You know, Ula. I didn't grow up thinking Ula was not, an alien. I believed it as a kid, but I think now, as an adult, like sometimes I can run up against it, which might be my fault, not them. But in animation, you can dream it, you can do it, and I think there's a power to that.
Yeah, and I think, as we've talked about before, I think in general, people who love the animation tune in, and the people who don't just skip it. So I think there is also a sort of like, we can just play and experiment, and it won't be under as much of a microscope. And I think that leads to bigger creative swings.
Indeed. We're going to get a call from Jedi James soon here. If you want to call in, phone lines are still open. Get on in here if you liked anything in the Maul trailer, or if you have questions about it, or maybe something's not working. Happy to discuss it here. We're celebrating the trailer, diving in deep. But if you're a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/ForceCenter, you can find the link posted in there yesterday. But I wanted Joseph catch up on some questions while we're waiting for some more calls to come in here. And that is, well, first of all, Mike with a nice super chat. The beard is coming in nicely. It is. And I'm going to have a little bit of a thinner beard for a while. I'm going to not get it as thick. I've decided that for now. Okay. There's the beard drama, the beard update of the day. Mr. LDS Speeds asked a silly question, but because it's Noir, Joseph, what is Maul's go-to diner food?
Oh, yeah. I think really, really raw steak. Like whatever animal they have on Janix, I think he's like, he orders it. And I'll have the Ronto special.
I love that. My late now late uncle, one of his first job was like in a diner in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and he said there was a guy that used to come in and would order the steak, and his request was they could only cook it for 10 seconds on each side. And that's probably, I think, now illegal. Restaurant probably could do it. But my uncle, when he was like 17 years old, he just remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I think Maul's got that. Just really like, sir, I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this is good for you, sir.
He survived on Lotho Minor partially by eating raw vermin. So just a little bit of cooking is a treat. 8984M says liver and onions, which then made me think of like, hey, there are frog creatures in Star Wars. What if somebody like served him frog legs and just the lightsaber comes out? Like, don't make me think about legs. Don't insult me like that.
I've had enough of legs. Douglas. Sorry. Coughing. That goes there. Any other that steak was still moving. Yeah, my uncle was disgusted about it. Great stuff there. Question coming in, and we're going to call from Jedi James in a second. But this one, Matthew Stokes has a question, a name we haven't heard in a long time. Peter Serafinowicz. Did he fall out with Lucasfilm? Nothing against Whitwer, but I often wonder why Maul doesn't have his original voice. I think we have an official answer for that, but I do like Peter Serafinowicz as a performer and love him in Guardians of the Galaxy and love when he shows up. But I love his work. He set the template for what Maul is in terms of voice. But yeah, he always struck me as he's got some Gen X energy towards that, and he told a funny story that Patton Oswalt would put out there often of like George giving vague directions on just, could you sound more evil? I don't mean this disrespectful to a performer I like, but I'm like, I'm glad it shifted to Witwer, and that's not what Matthew's not saying is Peter over Witwer, but I think I like where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to assume it was money that made Lucas and team not reach out. Like in the film that they released is a film, it is Samuel Jackson and Christopher Lee Wright, and then they're gone. And I know at one point in the Kenobi interview process, Ewan was like, I wish I'd known, I would have done it. Like, that would have been great. What would have your team said in terms of money for Ewan McGregor to come in? So I assume that it is a financial reason that they didn't reach out. And Whitwer was already in the family from the video game, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I can't remember the exact timeline, but yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, and I love what he brings to it, and all that good stuff there. Current terms of timeline, John Robert asks, do you think the show will take us up to or even beyond Solo? I would love several seasons. I would love several seasons too, even from this early onset. Looking at the show, but the timeline is we're just kind of after the fall of the Republic, right? We're in that kind of range.
A year-ish is what somebody else said, which I think is about right with the TK troopers and Bad Batch.
Right, Bad Batch. I could see it. I also could see, who knows? I'm sure the creators would be like, yeah, we'd love to give us 10 seasons. But I kind of, if this works and you get more out of the Maul story and more possibilities, more characters, like, then regroup and see what else you can do with the story leading up to Solo, the Dryden Voss of it all, the Kira of it all. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, like let's do it and then take a little break and then do something else that connects to Solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love it to run for 4 seasons. Let's see if I did my very simple math correctly, because 2026, 27, 28, 29, if it runs for 4 seasons, the final season could be the 30th anniversary of Darth Maul's first appearance in The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
Yeah.
You start throwing 30 years around. That scared me. David McKay says we're done Force Unleashed. That's how we got the Sun in Clone Wars Season 3.
Right.
Yeah, there's the timeline. All right, one more here, and then I'm sorry, Jedi Champs, I'm not going to leave you hanging. And more calls. Get more calls in today. Phone lines are open here. Okay. Oliver is this one here. I'm confident the show will have its own great story to hold our interest, but are there many cameos you guys are anticipating or hoping for? And I'm hoping for more cameo, the battle over the word cameo, which is the Bad Batch stuff. I have going into this, there was, again, Dryden Voss, Kira, Vader. I dare say those aren't cameos, but just in terms of other characters showing up, I think a lot of my, I'd like to see is on hold because this season seems so self-contained. Doesn't mean that someone shouldn't or couldn't show up. But you know what I mean? Like, just seeing this trailer and hearing the Janix and it's kind of this one planet, I'm like, this we might have enough of new names to get to know.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a psych out. Maybe it is like the first half of the season is on Janix, and then Maul feels content to get bigger. But I would be really thrilled with it if the first season was like, by the end of it, Maul is running Janix and it is his criminal capital, and now he's ready to expand. Vader eventually, Kira eventually. If he's going to run into a Jedi, we got Quinlan running around out there. Alex from Star Wars Explained coming in with a reminder: Dryden Voss has a character model. He must appear. Yes, from the Clone Wars. So that would be great. It says the return of Darth Maul's legs, but which ones? So I think Quinlan is another sort of cameo that makes sense to me, because it would be about the Jedi. I'm kind of hoping this is the opposite. I'm kind of hoping for an Inquisitor at some point where we haven't met before, because that was my only sort of weird energy of the trailer, to see 2 Inquisitors. I mean, I know they keep introducing more and more, and they're going to run out of numbers. But I would love to see an Inquisitor that we don't know their fate. I mean, I guess Merrick, we don't know exactly we all have our theory that
Yeah.
he was killed and then reanimated by the Night Sisters so he could explode into a green fart. But that is also kind of his fate. Well, he gets killed by somebody.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You want like the 16th sister. Like we want to start getting to the high numbers, right? Like we want to.
Yeah, we're up to like the 78th brother.
Yeah. This is like in baseball when they call up the rookie and they run out of numbers, and you're number 91. I was just double checking. I did forget that Morley is dead, but could Son of Morley show up?
Love it. I would love some flashbacks, like I said, to kind of fill in that story, which would include Mother Talzin, Dooku, Grievous, all of who they have models for. So
love that there. Thank you, Gwen, for the generous super chat. So much fun. Thanks for having me on. Well, we absolutely appreciate and love having you on there as well. All right, let's take a call here from Jedi James. And Jedi James is here. Great location. And then again, out there, phone lines are open. Get in here, call in, and share your thoughts on the Maul Shadow Lord trailer. And Jedi James, what are your thoughts? What's your reaction?
Hey, guys. Before I do, I just want to say, Joseph, thank you for the powerful, vulnerable information you gave us on the stream last week. I was sorry I wasn't able to join it live, but thanks for telling us about those websites, because I will definitely join in that way. It was
awesome.
Very important. I highly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
But in terms of this, if the hype for animation train has already started pedaling, I am going to dump Mustafar-sized coal into the fire, because I'm excited. I love Star Wars animation too so much. It's how my first understanding of how Star Wars could expand beyond the movies happened. It's amazing. This animation, people say it. What do I need to say more? It looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I love everything you all have been talking about how is watching Maul try to fight evil with evil. And he says those Sith words, my chains are broken, but they're never broken. They're just tightening and tightening, tightening. And he doesn't shatter any empires with it. He just shatters himself, unfortunately. And I'm just excited to see how all that play out. What you all said about maybe he gets closer than he ever has to letting go of that anger, but he just can't do it. It's too terrifying. But outside of all that, I'm very excited for this notion of like seeing Maul, like, what does he think of Palpatine's plans coming to fruition? Because he said it to Savage Opress in season 4, I was apprenticed to the most powerful being in the galaxy. I was destined for so much more, and it was robbed from me. I just like, we've seen snippets of it and like maybe Solo and understanding how he got Crimson Dawn or in Rebels, but like actually seeing like this happened, my master's dream has become a reality and I'm not a part of it anymore. What do I do to that? What does that do to me and my goals in life, whatever those crazy unhinged goals may be? So I'm incredibly excited for that. And also I'm just continue to be excited by this fleshing out of right after Revenge of the Sith, because that became a big fascination to me, because everyone made the jokes about they have the Imperial uniforms the next day. I was very amused when I first heard those jokes, because I didn't think twice on it when I was a kid, but just getting all these stories, the Bad Batch, the Ahsoka book, the Darth Vader comic by Charles Soule, the Rise of the Red Blades. Now this, I mean, for crying out loud, I'm reading this right now. Reading the nice. Just seeing the actual slowly but surely progression of takeover by the Empire. How do they sink their feet in first? How do they get stormtroopers first? And just what that all means to this time and the relevant stuff surrounding it. Just getting this other dark world under scum and villainy corner. That's also, again, perhaps one of the people who was closest to Sidious before all this came to be. Just getting that viewpoint, I'm very excited for that one too, personally. So I will always love seeing more of how the Empire came to be in its very earliest days.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying. I think there's good possibility that Sidious certainly trained him in the dark side and taught him that your anger is your passion, that will make you strong. But the Jedi are the oppressors. They won't let people just choose who they want to be. So once we get rid of the Jedi and take over the galaxy, everybody is going to be free like us. And I wonder if Maul might have a little bit of like, he kind of drank the Kool-Aid of like, yeah, that sounded cool when I was the one who was oppressed and wanted to be free, but now I'm being oppressed, and now actually everybody's kind of being oppressed. Like, I don't think he's ever going to become a good guy. I still think he's going to be like, I was with the leopards eat my face party and they ate my face. So now we all need to start a new party, and it's going to be leopards eat my face, but I'm going to be the leopard. But there is a really interesting thing that's through line that we've seen with a lot of the Darksiders, where it's like they lie to themselves that they are actually going to bring freedom to other people once they deal with the oppressors. And that would be really interesting if Maul has to kind of wrestle with that, just almost on a political, philosophical level of like, this is not the world that he's creating. Is not the one that he promised me.
Yeah, I love what you're both saying there too, and I'm with you, James. On and I was one of the ones that made the jokes of Palpatine picking the uniforms out and they're unveiled tomorrow. Like it's fun robot chicken stuff, but then there's these answers of that I think are beyond just trivia answers. Things that I didn't think about of like, oh yeah, what did happen with the clones if they suddenly became stormtroopers? What are the like all those things that are just kind of surface level stuff, but to have Bad Batch and other Star Wars stories give you the reasons behind it and kind of see how it plays out, and if the prequels are this sudden but also slow fall into fascism, and now we got this. Who's acquiescing now that fascism is here? Who's fighting back? How do you find out who's fight back? Who's trying to ignore it? And it just allows us to explore this time period in a smaller, granular level. Just like I love what Andor and other in Rogue One and other stories have done for the formation of that official rebellion that we all fell in love with over many points of time in the Star Wars fandom timeline. I think this is a great character to do it, which I don't think I would have thought that 10, 15 years ago.
But they built.
I didn't even know he was alive 10 to 15 years ago.
True. Awesome stuff. Any favorite moment that jumped out at you in the trailer?
Well, you mentioned so many of them, and I mean, come on, the Duel of the Fates, double blade spin into 3 poor troopers, hope their pensions cover everything. But that moment was amazing. But one I don't think I've heard yet was I really love the Maul leaning on the ground serving tea or whatever, his lightsaber to the side. Almost Joseph, you always mentioned that Jedi always place their lightsabers down wanting to not use them first. It's almost like an inverse of that, like, yeah, my glowing red blade here, and I'm going to use my sweet words, but notice that this is over here. And it just reminds me of when Pre Vizsla brought him back and he served him tea, and it's also like, dare I say, maybe a great samurai type shot, which Star Wars is no stranger to. It just felt like a great inverse of, we both know this is not okay. Look at how vulnerable I'm being to you. Not really. You know where you're looking, and you know that what you're feeling is, that anger you're feeling is good and powerful. So I just love that shot particularly.
Love that there. All right, letting you go with, you got to answer too. Yes or no? No words after that. At some point in this series, does Vader return?
Yes, my master. Yes, I hope so. I hope so.
Goes.
I do have one quick question for you two, if you don't mind, by the way. Not to be nosy, but since we're speaking of animation love, that amazing Star Wars ranked you're doing about favorite scenes in the movies, I'm loving it already. Is that going to include the Clone Wars movie by chance, or is my hope sadly crushed in this one?
No, we're going to make it happen. I think by calendar, it would only be the saga films leading up to Mando and Grogu, which is the point of the series. But we're gonna make sure that Rogue One Solo and Clone Wars get in there as well.
Sorry, not to be nosy. I was just very curious.
No, that's great. It'll be really fun to look at the Clone Wars movie that way.
I was there. I was a Clone Wars movie defender. I love that.
When you said nosy, I thought you were like asking me what meds I take now, and I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you regardless. So there you go.
We're going to rank those in a special other episode. Ken's top 10 medications.
Joseph and Ken rank their top 10 old man meds that they're on now. Love it. All right. Well, thank you, Jedi James. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
All right, a couple more calls coming in here. We're here for I don't know, but I'm good for about another 20-25. Joseph, if you are here,
yeah.
Any
Absolutely.
questions you see that you want to get to before we take some calls?
Well, there was a thing that I wanted to talk about because I forgot it in the press release, but it reminded me when we
Yeah.
were talking about cameos that the of course voice actor of Hera, Vanessa Marshall, is listed as Rook Kast.
Right. Yes.
Rook Kast is a character that people have been excited about just all on her own as a loyal Mandalorian in Maul's employ. But there had always been those sort of the armorer is Rook Kast theories,
Right. Yes.
and I don't know if I agree with those, but Filoni does. He's obviously the creator of this show, not doing the day-to-day on it. That's all these other great people. But there are horns on the armorer's helmet, so I don't think a connection to Maul is absurd. So I was wondering if people are, if there are Reddit screeds out there that I haven't read that are 8 pages long of this is going to Rook Kast is in this to connect to the Mandalorian.
That'd be, imagine like Celebration 27 and we get a teaser trailer for Shadow Lord season 2. And it begins with, someone saying, well, you need a weapon forged. I got the person. And there's a clink, and out of the shadows comes animated Emily Swallow as armor. We love that there. Great stuff. No, and Rook Kast, great pull. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, should have been discussed. Comic book character first, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think she appeared in that.
In terms of comic,
book. Yeah. Yes, because she is one of the. But regardless of the armor stuff, because I don't feel like Rook Kast is armor because I don't think they created the armor to be a mystery character. But I'm happy that Rook Kast is coming there because I do want them to spend a little bit more time with Mandalore, with Maul's relationship to Mandalore, and how much some of his some of the Mandalorians, some of the Death Watch members did seem to become like true believers, not just sort of like we've followed the philosophy of might makes right and he killed Pre Vizsla and might makes right, but it seems like there's truly an emotional connection, which I would love to explore.
Love indeed. Love that indeed. We'll take a call here. We got Jared the Tide Pilot, Low Road Nose, Lauren Roma checking in, but we do have a super chat from Mr. LDS Speeds. Is there an action figure either of you hope for from the series? Merrick with gas action. I'll never be buying my 20th Maul figure. LOL. In terms of figures, we don't know the full slate of options, but where does your heart take you?
Yeah, I definitely want a weird Jedi Master because come on, every Jedi Master is great, but a weirdie like a Master Iko Diodaki sounds absolutely great. I want to go into a toy store and it's like, hey, do you guys have Master Iko Diodaki? But people joking about the sort of noir quality and what they need from that visually for Maul. Oliver says Noir Maul needs a fedora with holes for his horns. Douglas says French coat with collar up is a must. Okay, we all know the concept art where Maul has the yellow suit with the high collars, right?
Right.
So what if he does have a noir trench coat, but it is basically a callback to that concept art? It's got the high little sort of yellow strands. I think some of it kind of went toward Mother Talzin, some of that design with her weird floating strands. That would be so great. But it would be great to have the trench coat with the flowies. But more than anything, I do actually want to see Maul in a different outfit because I love buying Maul action figures. But there's only so much variety, and we all kind of have this Maul look. So I'm really hoping for some different Maul looks.
Yeah, just one where he's buttoned up. One he's got like a Henley on or something.
Yeah.
First of all, in terms of this clearly got noir vibes. In terms of just the history of the Clone Wars series. A lot of times they didn't just lean in; they just directly said, "We got a 1950s noir cop." We've got a. Oh my God! Got a almost. The Cy Snoodles episode. Like they sometimes we're heavy on it, so I wouldn't mind it. I'm not saying it has to be a big spotlight on it. I don't necessarily say Maul's going to be in a diner with Rain and he's talking. There's a VO of him, cold rainy night on Janix. I don't need that, but I could see an homage. I could see some sort of, not a fedora, but some kind of like, yeah, this is Noir. Maybe I'm being overly hopeful, but I think that'd be fun.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, for me, in terms of action figures, I'll buy another Maul. I do want. Let's just finally lean into this, and you can get the official at the Star Wars Celebration gift shop. Get the official Maul tea set.
Oh,
he likes serving tea. Let's do this.
Yeah, love it.
Indeed. All right, thank you, Mr. LDS, for that one there. Matty Morner, Matty Gunner says can't stay but wanted to support. Can't wait to see Maul fight imperialist fascism with the violence it forced on him as a child. I got a message from Matty yesterday, just kind of apologizing for how much he roots for Maul to be Maul. So no need to apologize. We get it. Let's take a call here. As I said here, if you're calling in and your camera's on and up and ready, that means you have agreed to our terms of service, and your face can appear on ForceCenter there. He has put on a shirt, which at first I was questioning. He's got a shirt. Jared the TIE Pilot is here. Jared, how you doing, my friend?
Well, it's not Blather night, so I figured I'd dress up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Favorite things from the small trailer?
Honestly, the return of the sixth brother. That is probably my favorite Inquisitor look. I liked just everything about his little attitude, his adorable cape, his little plague doctor mask. Just I love it. Just anytime I can get more of him, I will bloody take it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you want to run it into him at like some sort of Renaissance fair is what I'm hearing here.
I feel like you could. Like that, you know how you see Trekkies at the Ren Fair? I think he could also fit right in, some uncontacted planet, pre-warp civilization going on.
Mm-hmm. With what'd you say, his adorable little attitude? What'd you say? I think
it's his adorable cape, his adorable attitude, just everything about him was just I thought it was pure Inquisitor, just all ego, no skill. Great outfit.
People have been pointing out in chat that, of course, we all know Merrick, explodes into green gas, but there is like a weird hiss deflate when your dude goes down in Tales of the Jedi. What theories do you have about the deflating energy from your guy?
Actually, one of the chat guys, I think it was 4 or 5, said it that both the Inquisitors that they show in the trailer are the 2 that turn to gas when we know they perish. Mm-hmm. So it's so far the headcanon makes sense for me that if they get taken out by Maul and resurrected by some Dark Sister magic, I'm cool with that. That works for me.
Nice. Yeah, I like that too. Which it means also that Maul can take down 2 Inquisitors.
Yeah, and is he dropping off the bodies at a Night Sister cafe or something like is it some sort of connection? I don't know. I love that there.
I mean, he does whatever mommy tells him to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He might have learned some of the old ways, or he might make a little side trip to Dathomir, and maybe he's doing some of this.
Maybe. Any other moments you love there, Jared?
I'm just to echo Matty Gunner, I'm excited to see fascists get lightsabered in half. That's always good. I feel like this show almost gives Maul a sort of little Magneto vibe to me, where he's the bad guy, but he's taking out the right people. It's an interesting dichotomy, and I love how Star Wars, starting in 77 with clear-cut bad guys, clear-cut good guys, as 50 years later, we can, cross that line of, what is bad, what is good,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really great. Yeah, because the Magneto comparison is great. And the great scene in First Class where he's taking it to the Nazis. It's hard not to root for old Magneto then. Yeah, and I feel like for Star Wars, a lot of it is like, we can agree on what the problem is. Now there's a line to cross and how we handle it. And I think sometimes how they measure good and bad is sort of like, what does it do to you? What is the collateral damage to others based on what you choose? So I'm really interested in seeing if Maul is like, man, we're on board with you, but then he makes choices that like kind of that's I think a really fun thing to do in audience is to pull the rug out from under them and be like, you're cheering like Maul, Maul, Maul. He's like, whoops, I didn't want that to happen. That's awful.
Yep. Oh, and I'm so looking forward to that rug pull because, as Obi-Wan, Maul cannot rise above hate. So it's just he can't help being himself, which was he? It's that old. Was he born that way, or did the Emperor really screw him up that much?
Or maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely with the makeup. All right, Jared. Everyone gets the question today. Yes or no? Nothing more than that. Don't. Yes or no? Vader at some point returns in this series, not necessarily this season, but this series.
Sure. I don't see why not.
It was not the option. Sure. Yes or no? Sure.
You have to accept. It's not simple black and white. That's what Jared's all about. There's the dark side, the light side, and the sure side.
Sure.
I'm not a great Jedi fan, but yeah, why not? Shoot down the middle. Go a little Bendu action.
There you go. Jared, thank you so much, buddy, for calling in.
Always. You guys stay safe. Have a good one.
Thanks, we will. We got Lauren Romo next here as we catch up with all of you here. We're here for a couple more minutes, so if you want to call in, now's the time to do it. Patreon.com/ForceCenter, of course, gets you into there. And Gaz had speaking of Inquisitors, we had this one saved from earlier. Do you think we'll see Maul get his broken Inquisitor lightsaber that we see in Solo and Rebels? And which Inquisitor will he take the saber from? What do you think there? Birdman? Gasman?
I like Maul, so I want to keep up with Maul trivia. I get confused about his lightsabers.
I do too.
About which one he has when, because sorry, we can still see in the chat that Jared
took his shirt off.
Jared went full Jared.
Off hair.
Jared went full Jared. Anyway, yeah, I would love to see him take it off in Inquisitor because we're having fun with some of the canon stuff that we know about Inquisitors and our favorite ones with their fun capes. But Maul is going to have a relationship to them, right? Of like, they have to be like crumbs to him, right? Of like, Palpatine basically told him, "You failed. You're useless and pathetic," and he's got to be like, "Oh, and then you recruited a bunch of just sniveling losers in the Inquisitors." Like Maul really has to hate the Inquisitors, so taking their power from them by taking a saber would be great.
And I do hope through the series we see a couple more of the Inquisitors. I still like it, and it's funny. I think I fought against the idea when they first showed up and wrote it off as well. I guess you can't have Vader every week as your Rebels villain, so you got to create something new. And the Grand Inquisitor won me over early on. I think that it makes a lot of sense, and I think it continues to be a rewarding kind of group to explore. So there you go. All right, here we've got one call lined up here, and she is a longtime Force Center supporter. We first met her in Chicago, which seems like yesterday, but no, it's 7 years ago. Lauren Romo, check it in. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Fantastic.
All right. Favorite things? I know you were excited for this. Great anticipation.
Yes.
Favorite things from the Maul trailer?
So I will go with just the overall visuals of it. Animation, you guys know, huge fan of all of it. But it just looks so much cleaner, if that makes sense. It just it looks almost more real than I think where Bad Batch was too. Because I feel like Bad Batch has really good visuals and really good animation. I think this looks like it's a step up for all of it, which is fantastic. Love Maul. I mean, I'm interested to see where this story goes in a deeper theme. Like, obviously, you guys love to talk about like what is going to be a very deep theme in this show, especially kind of like what Jared was saying, with Maul being a character that is predominantly bad. How are they what kind of balance are they going to do with? He's bad, but like we're saying, he's eliminating a bunch of fascist empire, so we're rooting for him. But I'm interested to see how they kind of take that story, what they do with it, what the bigger themes will be. And then honestly, I'm really excited to see these Jedi. I'm a sucker for Jedi showing up after 66. What are they doing? And then their interactions with Maul. I'm very excited to see too. I mean, it looks great. And Mandalore. I mean, I know you guys talked about the Mandalorians with Vanessa Marshall doing her character again. I love Mandalorian lore. Whatever I'm going to get in this, I hope a lot. I'm excited for it because I just love the connections with him in the Mandalorians. I think it's ripe for good, at least some part of the story, right? I mean, I think that excites me for sure. Like those kind of aspects of it so far.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's fair to say this is going to be a beautiful series of evil characters doing evil things. But Bad Batch is gorgeous. The water, it moves. I mean, it's just getting better and better. That makes sense. But it just adds to the pulling you into that world.
Yeah, they talked a little bit in the article about they're really working to even just get some of the facial animation, the lip match to the words even better. And I feel like Bad Batch was fantastic, but part of what was so fantastic about Bad Batch was all of the backgrounds and the environments were like so rich, and they were so on the nose with, does this environment support what emotionally is going on? But yeah, I'm excited to see the animation get even more like. There are a couple of shots where it does feel like, oh, that looks like, real footage that's been painted over.
Yeah, it really does. It just has that feel to it, and I mean, I'm always going to clamor for another theatrical Star Wars animation movie. So hopefully this pushes us in that direction. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into this world. I'm excited to get back with this character. What happens? Kind of, we kind of know the end, right? But it's this middle part that we're getting there. And it's gonna, I'm really excited to see where they take us with this because I think there's so many different ways they can go. And
there's a lot. Yeah, and I mean, with 4 seasons, like we're all talking about it could bring him to Solo because it's the next point, but it could take him through Solo, and it could bring him to being stranded on Malachor. How much of Maul's story do you want to see in this show? Do you want it to fill in the map a lot or a little?
That's a good question, Joseph. I feel like I wouldn't mind a little. I don't know if I want it all. I wouldn't mind getting to the point where maybe why he ends up on Malachor, just like maybe that, but I don't need the full story, if that makes sense. Like just that's where we end up in some way, shape, or form. But that's where I would love to see it go. The series, whether did they say? I can't remember. Did they say how many seasons?
No, they haven't said anything about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Open ended.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a, assuming that this will be more than just one season, I would love to kind of get to those points of like, him building up to where we see him in Solo to Malachor, and we know the Inquisitors, if my memory serves me, in Rebels, when they do see him on Malachor, they were not unaware of him, obviously, and they were kind of feared him. So how does that all work in this show too? I think it's gonna be cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, great point.
Lovely. All right, I got 2 final questions for you, Roma. So I'm gonna need the first one. Vader, yes or no?
No, but it's probably gonna happen. How's that?
You cheated. But okay. And then, all right. Can I ask
a follow-up question?
Yes, follow.
Since the yes or no has already been shattered, is that a you believe that he will, but you personally don't want him to?
Yes, I think that's for me.
Okay.
I'm a huge Vader fan. I love Anakin. I will say Anakin Skywalker, but if we're gonna follow Maul, I just want it to be his story. And not that Vader, not that Vader would overtake it, because they have done a wonderful job in other animation with it, hands down. So I don't feel like it would take you out of the story of Maul, but I just personally, I don't want to see it.
I think I want to see it, and I think it will happen. But I think you've got a valid point, because even though people love Rebels and love those characters, a lot of times people are like, "What's your favorite episode of Rebels?" Kenobi versus Maul, Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka versus Vader, and like a lot of real important stuff happens with Kanan and Ezra in Twilight of the Apprentice, and mostly we do talk about Vader versus Ahsoka. So Vader does. He is a little bit of diva. He takes over the stage.
I mean, to be fair, he is a great character. So I mean, but
All right. So you cheated there. Yes, no, maybe. But All right, final thing. So you are your fellow Michigander. Laserbolt says stay warm. You got a big cold front up there, as a lot of the other parts of the country. It's been very chilly today, about 58. It's been a very chilly day here in Burbank. But all right, in both Joseph and I's neighborhood, there is a Detroit style pizza restaurant, and I need you to convince Joseph and I to 3 sentences or less why we should try Detroit style pizza.
It is something that you will enjoy, something that you will never forget, and it's a once in a lifetime experience. I'll say that.
Wow.
Nice. Perfect.
Okay. There you go. Lauren Roma, everybody. Thank you, Lauren Roma.
All right, bye. See ya.
All right. A couple more calls lined up, and that'll be it for today as we start to get on out of here.
Yeah.
But
I want
yes.
to grab a chat real quick from because we were I was admitting that I get a little confused about Maul's lightsabers. So some clarification from General Cameroni. Clone Wars, he has just half his original staff. Then in season 7, he has a staff again with a different hilt attached on the end. Looks like he has that hilt in the Shadow Lord. Then by the time of Solo, he has the broken Inquisitor hilt. Yes.
Love it.
Yes, and I remember the some of his design was originally going to be Asajj's, and then that changed. So anyway, there we go, Ken.
No, it's good. And General Cameroni said, I'm sorry, I'm very invested in Saber Hills and their journeys.
Me too, which is why I get annoyed with myself that I lose the thread on Maul. So thank you.
Yeah. There you go. Take a call here from Ethan. We got Michael. Gwendo, thank you again for the another generous super chat. Not going to lie, harbor hopes that Filoni will push for big screen animated feature films. I think more realistically, if Disney Plus still remains a thing, I mean, it will. But I think that's a good spot to at least try one, and then see where you can go from there. Work. And I said recently, I watched it much too late, but I really enjoyed the War of the Rohirrim, the Lord of the Rings animated movie that was out into 2024. So really good stuff there. All right, calls here. We got camera ready faces here. We got Ethan Osvetnik 1138. Ethan, how are you, my friend? You're bundled up.
I'm cold. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah. Was it 56 where you are?
Yeah, no, it is. Here, I'll pull it up for you. What do we got? It is 4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, lovely.
So I've been working outside most of the day. I had icicles here not too long ago. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah. Hit me with your Maul thoughts.
Honestly, there are all sorts of great things that we can talk about thematically, and they've all been talked about. I agree with everything everybody is saying. I'm looking forward to all of that. But gosh dang it, doesn't it just look cool? Can we just talk about how cool it looks? I mean, first of all, I think the lightsabers look super cool. They're doing something different effects-wise on those. There's a unstable something look to them, not quite Kylo like, but there's something about that looks really cool. And then I'm looking forward to fights, including one that you are. Well, if that happened, but yeah, and then we talked. You guys kind of talked about it earlier, but gosh dang it, Dennis Haysbert is in this thing. That's super cool. So I'm looking forward to all of it. I think for me, Star Wars animation doesn't miss. And so I'm just looking forward to the next home run, really.
Yeah. No, I really like what you're saying. It is just a treat for the eyes. I think they're talking about that article of they're bringing in this technique of painting on glass to give some of the motion this actual sense of physical motion, because it was a painting made by an actual human organic hand, and then layering that onto specific images. So I think what we're seeing is that sense of motion in the lightsabers, but it feels so organic and real. Just a fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't read the article. I need to read the article.
Well, you've been working. You're working, man. You're out there.
I'm a working stiff.
Yeah, the phones don't work when it gets too cold for your fingers,
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, those are my main thoughts. I'm just excited for something that will definitely get into some darker spots, but overall looks like a fun time reveling in the darkness.
Mhm.
And I am looking forward to seeing this this new Jedi character. I cannot remember her name right now.
Devon is on.
Devon. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I know that online there will probably be people complaining about her without even seeing her at all because she's a her, but I'm here for it. I don't care. I think she's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to. You know what? I'm glad that she is already a Jedi.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we're coming. Yeah, you know, like they could easily have done a, you know, Maul picks up some rando who's never held a lightsaber before thing, but they've got somebody who ostensibly knows right and wrong, and so we can watch and see, you know, whether or not she, you know, the will they, won't they. Will, you know, but in a very different way. Will she become his apprentice? Will she actually fall? You know, so that'll be good.
Indeed. Love it. All right. You get the question too. Vader, yes or no?
Yes.
Or no. Okay, there you go. See, Romo, that's how you do it.
Period.
That's how you do it. Ethan,
lightsaber mic.
Thank you. Be safe. Be warm.
Yeah.
Be warm.
Can I say one last thing, guys?
One last thing.
So I'll make it quick. Guys, it's a new year. It's 2026. I'm sure there are a bunch of people in the chat who are watching that have never called in, have never been in the Discord or anything like that. Guys, it's the cheapest option, I think, is like $2, $5. Get in. It's the most fun on the internet you'll have discussing Star Wars. And that's not a high bar necessarily to clear sometimes, but it's great. And there's never a better time on the ForceCenter Discord than when there is a new show to discuss. So get in, and we'll have all sorts of fun. Okay.
Love it.
All right.
Thank you, Ethan. Really.
So I'll pitch for you, and then I'm going to leave.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Great hype time.
Hype time indeed. All right, let's do it. Final call of the day, and then I got a Chihuahua that is getting angry with me here. Calling in. He better have his hands on 10 and 2, or I'm going to yell at him here. Detective Michael McCarcel. Michael, again, as I always have to say, not really a detective, just a nickname I gave him a long time ago that has stuck. Michael, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. It's been a long day, but I am on my way to D&D, so.
Okay. All right. You make that turn safely, and then tell me what you think about the Maul trailer.
I thought the trailer was great. I know I probably mentioned it before, but I do think, to circle back to the very beginning of the stream, as Glenn said, I do think Star Wars is at its best in animation. I know it obviously doesn't sort of cinema, but I think it's kind of a cliche at this point, but I think there's just so much more you can get away with in animation.
The boundaries are a little looser in your mind for animation is what you're saying then, yeah?
Exactly.
Love it. All right, favorite moments in the trailer?
A lot of the posturing that Maul does is always great. He's just such a slimy, sassy little shit. He is. He and Kenobi, more than with lightsabers, they fight with words a lot. And they go back and forth with the constant barbs, and it's great. Honestly, that's a relationship I will kind of miss in this show, and I'll be curious to see how other people respond to him in that way. Obviously, this Jedi Master character is not making it, but this young Jedi,
Devon,
legally not Darth Talon. I'm curious how she'll put up with his nonsense. If she is going to be kind of a sidekick, apprentice-ish character, I'm curious as to how she will kind of push back in a way. Hopefully, because we haven't really gotten much about her otherwise, have we? Not as far as I've seen in the interviews. So that's one perspective I'm very curious about. I'm also curious if they will try to endear us to these the lawman that's going after Maul.
Brander Lawson.
Because it sounds like this planet is one of those holdouts who is not under Imperial rule just yet. So it makes me curious as to what the perspective of these people, like why are they after all? Is it because it would endeavor to the Empire, or is it because they just genuinely want to protect their planet?
Oh, I got you. Yeah. How dastardly is this guy? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In today's age, being forced to side with a cop it makes me feel a little icky.
Yeah. Love it. Joseph, you had something. Sorry, you had a follow up, Joseph?
No, I was just going to say, I really agree with that. I think that's great to think about. The article again talks about how the city is balancing between still being a democracy, but kind of allowing the crime. And so I can see if the Empire is starting to come down on Janix, and the cop is like, well, I could arrest you, or I could let you defend the entire city. It's a really interesting moral place to be with Maul.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Michael, you get the question too. Then we're going to get out of here. Vader, at some point this season or the series, yes or no?
Yes, I think probably the finale, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yes, in the finale.
The series, but
all right.
It could be the very first episode. So.
You broke the rules, Michael. Michael, you broke the rules. You broke the rules. Yes or no? You're in there. All right. Thank you, Michael. Get home safely, please. 10 and 2. All right. There you go. All right. We're getting ready to get on out of here. Thank you all for calling in here today. A lot of fun celebrating that trailer, Joseph. It's a lot going on in the world that we don't want to turn away from, but every once in a while you got to take a breather and enjoy a high fantasy tale about fighting fascism in different ways.
That's right. You need to enjoy yourself and have fun, and there's plenty, as we've been talking about, to think about how we respond to fascism in the old Darth Maul show too. Ken, since you've been doing it to everybody, I'm going to give you a yes or no question. Because we got a quick super chat here from Jared, the TIE pilot. Should Maul get a love interest?
Yes. Yes.
I am also going to answer yes. There's more I want to say, but I'm just
I played by the rules. Unlike Romo McCarcel, I played by the rules.
We played by the rules. There we go.
There we go. Awesome. Hey, we love doing these shows every week anyways when they're about other topics, but it was fun to talk about something big with you all. We appreciate our ForceCenter community, as Ethan did a great job getting that Discord, patreon.com/ForceCenter. The bottom, the entry level, that's all it needs to be for you. If you can afford it, you can get into Discord, then you too can call into the show. But that's it. I think that's it. Final thoughts, Joseph, and we'll get on out to our Friday evenings here.
No, I think everybody had great points. I love Star Wars when it is fun and pulpy and weird, and then has just a ton of emotional story to it. And I think Maul is going to have it. And I think there's going to be lots of scenes where he thinks about Kenobi. So maybe we'll get a Kenobi cameo.
Oh, yeah. We'll factor that in. All right. There you go. Fire up the phone lines, James Arnold Taylor. You might get to be Kenobi again. All right. That's it. You know where to find us and follow us. Short outro today. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.